Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, this is a great day. We need some energy here. My name is Clay Marsh, and it's my pleasure and privilege to start off our Children's Health Policy Conference, really in many ways celebrating the 20th anniversary of the CHIP program and many of the people that were responsible for that program who are in the room with us, but also to really start to celebrate a shared purpose. And we talked last night a little bit at the reception that was at the Blaney House about the impact of purpose on what we do. And from my own perspective, I think that one of the real challenges that we have, not only in this state and this country, but in this world, is the business of what we do has started to outstrip the purpose of what we do to the level that in many ways we've sometimes forgot about our purpose. We forgot about the reason why we get up in the morning, and we forgot about the thing that binds us to other people in a very powerful way. And today, I believe you're going to see evidence of a lot of people who shared a single purpose and made magic happen. And for me, part of the great thing about being back here in West Virginia is our purpose is not only to improve the health of this state and improve the lives of the citizens of this state, but our purpose is to change the world and do it starting here. So Simon Sinek, who is a leader guru, said that great companies are great because they start with their purpose. They start with why. And so as we look today at the purpose of the people in the room, I want to recognize Senator Rockefeller, who was really the leader of this movement and his amazing work has helped 5.8 million children have health care and has helped 97% of West Virginia children have health care. But even more than health care, it gave them hope and it gave them safety. Google, the biggest company in the world, looked at their best teams and they asked what was different about their best teams than all other teams, and they're Google, so they measured everything. They found only one thing was different, and that one thing was a higher degree of psychological safety. Now think about that. The teams with greater amounts of psychological safety were much higher performing teams. And so as we look at safety, and remember Abraham Maslow, who has a hierarchy of human needs, and the base need is physiology, you need to have your reflexes work, but the next level is safety, and then love, and then self-esteem, and then self-actualization. You know, it's interesting that Nobel Prize winner Angus Deaton and his wife Ann Case found that if you look at a group of 45 to 55-year-old white people, men greater than women, high school education or less, they are dying at a rate that's been unprecedented since the peak of the AIDS epidemic. And initially they found they were dying of addiction kind of related problems, but then they found that really they were dying of reduced social capital. They were dying of despair, hopelessness. Another Nobel Prize winner named Elizabeth Blackburn, who won the Nobel Prize for telomeres, which basically are the ends of your DNA, and the longer they are, the younger you are, and the shorter they are, the older you are, did a really interesting study with a behavioral psychologist named Alyssa Appel, and they basically asked the question, if you looked at parents, moms in this case, who have very sick children who are going to die young, children that the CHIP program has helped immeasurably, and you compared them to moms who had normal children, they predicted that moms with really sick kids would be more stressed and would age faster. And so they basically measured these telomeres, and what they found was, they found that it didn't matter if your kid was sick or if your kid was well, that if a mom felt chronically stressed by their life, they aged faster than the moms that didn't. So it wasn't necessarily the stress you're under, it's how you see it. And Mike Brumage, as we talked about last night, is a very big advocate of the Adverse Childhood Experience Survey the ACE score, which is a 10-question test given to kids 18 and under. And it asks questions about trauma, neglect, and family dysfunction. Questions like, were you loved? Did you feel safe? Did your parents stay together? Did one get divorced? Did one get put in jail? Did you ever get threatened with violence or sexually inappropriate behavior? The average score in America is thought to be 1. Mike did a little study, as I remember. The average score in his needle exchange clinic was 4. At a score of 4, the prediction is your risk of emphysema goes up 1,200 times versus if your score is 0. And if you get a score of 6, you're likely to live fewer years, up to 20 years. And interestingly, in counties in West Virginia, we have life expectancy differences up to 20 years. J.D. Vance, who wrote Hillbilly Elegy, had a score of 7. And the offset of that is love, is safety, are people that care about you, the resilience side of the coin. And interesting, in West Virginia, we have the lowest self-reported well-being index by the Gallup polling survey, which is 5 questions of health, which is your purpose, how safe is your community, do you have the physical, financial, and social health, friends, connections that will help you feel better. And so we think that this combination of loss of social status or social power or social capital, along with this lack of a mindset of abundance, that things can be better, hope, is really a key issue for the drug problem, for the chronic disease problem. And I was just talking to the senator and saying that ultimately the only way to save money and improve outcomes in healthcare, I believe, is to have a healthier population. And that's what we want to do. And that's what I believe the CHIP program has done. It's provided love and safety to people. I would love for the people who work with the senator as staffers during that time to please stand up and be recognized, because there's a number of you in the room. Come on, stand up. And I would love for the people who help with our children's program here at the university to please stand up and be recognized. Come on, stand up. And I'll point out Dr. Phil Saul, but there's many other people in the room who do a great job. And lastly, I want to recognize the people that were responsible for making this day happen. Josh Austin, where are you, Josh? Where's Josh? Is he outside? Okay. He's working. So Josh Austin, Rocky Goodwin, Helen Matheny, and Bill Ramsey, who's driving his Model T Ford through Acadia National Park, which I would argue may even be better than the day we have today, but we're going to have a great day today. So it's my pleasure now to, am I introducing the senator, or am I introducing you, Rocky? Okay, right. So this is a video that was really spearheaded and facilitated by Helen and Bill, but this is a video about the history of the CHIP. So I hope everybody has a great day. Restrooms are right outside, and if there's anything that we can do to make it better, please let us know.
Most American parents have the peace of mind that comes with having health insurance. They know that if their child gets sick, or if they get sick or are hurt in some kind of an accident, their medical needs will be covered by their insurance company. Unfortunately, however, a very large number of children in America and in West Virginia have no health insurance whatsoever. There are 10.5 million children in America, and over 70,000 children in West Virginia who do not have any health coverage. That's wrong.
It's my general thought, if you don't have health care, you don't have anything, no matter what else you might think you have. And it was certainly true in Emmons, West Virginia,
Most of the people who don't have health insurance, the kids, their families are working.
It was the working poor, essentially, who were left out and did not have access to coverage. Coverage and access go hand in hand, and there was just a lot of unevenness across the country. Actually, the story of CHIP was pretty amazing because legislation was introduced in the spring of 1997 and actually got enacted and signed into law in August of that year. So by most standards, that was pretty quick. There was a long history for the members who were very active on this issue, who had been advocating this for a long time.
We had the whole world against us when we were doing the Children's Health Insurance Program. John Chafee, Republican, Rhode Island, Jerry Rockefeller, Democrat, West Virginia, and a guy named John Dingell, Democrat, in the House. Powerful, powerful person. We formed ourselves a little squadron, and our staff worked together all the time. Bipartisan, always bipartisan.
Senator Rockefeller and Senator Chafee introduced a Medicaid expansion proposal. Senator Kennedy and Senator Hatch, who introduced a bill together, their legislation would have created a block grant program. But we knew we had $16 billion, and we were trying to figure out how do we spend $16 billion in the most cost-effective way. What was so remarkable about that time was that they weren't wedded to each of their own proposals. They knew that they had to work together ultimately to get legislation passed. So Senator Rockefeller and Senator Chafee worked with Senator Hatch within the jurisdiction of the Finance Committee, and they basically melded together the Kennedy-Hatch proposal to the Chafee-Rockefeller proposal. Unfortunately, the governors were alerted that this amendment was likely to pass, and they did not favor it. They wanted more flexibility than was already in the proposal. So we actually failed on our amendment, but what Chairman Roth did was say that states could decide to do Medicaid, or they could do their own separate program through a block grant, or they could do both. And that passed on the Finance Committee and the Senate floor. We started out the negotiations with $16 billion. And then the Finance Committee worked through the night, members only. Basically, they asked staff to leave the room. And during, the rumors were 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Senator Hatch stood up and made an impassioned plea to expand funding even further and paying for it with the cigarette tax. So we actually ended up with $24 billion over 5 years on spending for the Children's Health Insurance Program.
On August 5th, President Clinton signed the State Children's Health Insurance Program into law. $24 billion in new funding was authorized to expand children's health care coverage over the next 5 years. It's one of the happiest days of my life. This year we took a very important step towards that goal. But to finish the job, each state has to work out their own plan to insure their children.
The important thing about the CHIP program is that it was a hybrid between commercial. It wasn't commercial insurance. It wasn't a full-blown entitlement program in the way that Medicaid was. It was kind of a blend of those two things. There were a lot of difficulties initially with helping to determine eligibility for CHIP families. It seems strange now considering how popular the program became, but at that time you felt like you were literally trying to turn over one rock at a time to get the word of mouth out there to bring families in. Some people in the early days were thinking, well, maybe you had to be on welfare to get CHIP, and it wasn't like that.
Medicaid had a stigma, but in the 90s there was also lots of changes to welfare. And what we understood was that helping people move from welfare to work required coverage for children, for health, because that was one of the things that people would lose if they went to work. We were hoping it would be destigmatized because it would have a new name and it wouldn't necessarily be at the welfare office where you got the benefits. We would make it available. You could sign up online. That was huge, not to have to go to an office. And the good news about Medicaid and the good news about CHIP is that if you have Medicaid, if you have CHIP, or you have private insurance, those kids are going to the doctors at the same rate.
One of my early recollections about being a CHIP director was going to conferences. You would hear school nurses or physicians and others talking about how grateful that they were that CHIP coverage had come along, that they had been at a loss sometimes to be able to serve those children without insurance. And that meant that those kids might not get screenings like for vision or hearing, as well as they didn't use wellness services generally, and they tended to just be lower utilizers of medical or dental services that we know are really important for kids.
So when the Affordable Care Act was being debated and considered by Congress, there was a lot of discussion on whether or not we would need CHIP, since a lot of children would now be able to get coverage with their parents' private insurance coverage. And Senator Rockefeller was very committed to say, you know, this is a brand new program, the Affordable Care Act. He was a strong and continues to be a strong supporter of it, but thought, you know, for kids, let's keep what we have right now. The other thing that's really important about CHIP is its benefits package, which are designed for kids. Those benefits are often not in other private insurance plans, and we are still now not sure what's going to happen with the Affordable Care Act. So I would say that the CHIP program is more important than ever.
It was always surprising that it was such a small program and enjoyed such strong public support, but nonetheless, there has always been this contention around whether or not it should continue.
It is currently slated to expire on September 30th of 2017, so this year. Congress needs to act quickly to reauthorize the program. It's one of the few areas where there still seems to be bipartisan support to keep coverage for children.
One of the things I'm most proud of for our state is that with CHIP and Medicaid together, we now cover 97% of all of our children. One thing that I'd like people to think about is that CHIP, while small, it really gave a very special focus to children's health care and elevated it both in the public and the policy level. And without CHIP, I think we all have to wonder and think about how we would continue to keep that focus on children's health. If we do not resolve the problem of what we replace the ACA with or how we fix it, children will lose out. And I tell you, that would just be heartbreaking.
"10 years from now, we'll still have to fix some things, but 10 years from now, people are going to say, what was all that fuss about? We've got a great healthcare system." You don't think that makes me happy? It does.
So I'm glad actually I see a few teary eyes because that's a pretty compelling message for today. My name's Rochelle Goodwin. Most of you know me by Rocky because when you're in a state this size and you go to nursery school with the same people you go to law school with, your nickname sticks. And Jay Rockefeller won't let me go by Rochelle. So I'm Rocky Goodwin. I am with WVU, but had the pleasure of serving with Senator's Senate staff for many years, with many of you here. I want to have this team over here again recognized who was responsible for some of that. Mariella is the movie star we were talking about earlier. And let me also say that if you have time during the break and you go to the netting gallery out front, you'll see the archival display of all of the documents that created CHIP back 20 years ago. Senator Rockefeller gifted his senatorial archives to WVU and our libraries. Danielle, please stand up. Danielle Emmerling is here. WVU Libraries is a co-sponsor of this event. Danielle does a fantastic job curating all of that history and moving those boxes into real life lessons for students. So students last year had a chance to learn about the Children's Health Insurance Program from her work and from conversations with former staff and the senator. So the reason we're here today is multi-purpose, but let me just give one quick summary of why we're talking today about children's health this morning and health insurance writ large throughout the day. In addition to libraries, we have co-sponsors of WVU Health Sciences. So for those of you who are with health sciences that helped, I see Eloise and a number of others who were on the planning team from Health Sciences in addition to Danielle, if you could just wave and be recognized too. Folks were on planning calls for, we've got Dean Coben here. Who else do we have from, of course we heard from Clay earlier, but lots of folks who helped make this happen. And the reason we do this is because Senator Rockefeller's Rockefeller School of Policy and Politics annually tackles a question that in a multidisciplinary way to look at how people, politics, place, and policy all intersect to move those studies into service and real life application. And so this is our second annual conference. Last year we tackled the transitioning energy economy. So we're very pleased to be partnering today on looking at children's health. It's also the 20th anniversary of CHIP. As we heard, CHIP's up for reauthorization. We've had a number of seismic policy changes floated throughout the last year, whether it was looking at ACA, even the Senate yesterday looking at some ACA changes, Medicaid block granting. So there's a lot going on from a policy perspective, but there's also a lot going on from a health outcomes perspective that we want to be aware of and see how we can make those two really meet.